Today's video we are revisiting the arcade table we built just a short while ago. My name's Matthew and you're watching another video by the MXQ project. So if you can remember, we reviewed a device called the Pandora 5S key. Now that was a kind of a knockoff product. Well, kind of, depends really how you look at things, but that was a device that held 1,000 Mame games, so that was all your arcade games, etc. So we decided to take this apart and then put it into some sort of table setup. I'm sure you've seen them, the arcade tables. You get the screen and the controls built into the actual table itself, and we attempted to do this without any knowledge about how to do this or how to go about it. We just thought, let's have a go, let's see how it turned out, and it didn't go too badly. Anyway, this is a follow-up video, so we're going to be showing you just a little bit about how we tidied things up and how we finished off the arcade table. So here's the back of the arcade table just before I finish it off. We've got a couple of panels here, you can see all the cabling, etc. I've got the two panels on the left and the right. They are encasing the actual controllers or the joypads or the joysticks, etc. That's keeping those all nice and protected just by using these very simple pieces of plywood. Now, I am not the best at cutting wood, so you'll probably see all the jagged edges, etc. It doesn't bother me, it's going to be covered up with felt just in a second. Now, I opted to actually glue the actual Pandora board onto the back of the screen. It was the only way I could do this because of the restraint of all the cables. If I was going to do this again, I'd probably use longer cables. This is the cables that came with the Pandora 5S key. They were quite short and I was kind of limited to what I could do, but normally with the actual Pandora, official Pandora board, you get quite long jammer cables, so that would probably be what I would opt for if I was ever to do this again. So finally, the rest of the cables are kind of neat and tidy. I opted for very short cables, very short kettle cables, and a very short VGA cable as well, and as you can see, it's just nice and neat. Now, I did previously use very long VGA cables just to kind of see it working, but they were not very practical. They were dangling down and getting in the way, and yeah, it was just making it a bit of a mess. So just some very cheap cables off eBay or Amazon, depending on wherever you want to shop. And yeah, these are just 50cm kettle cables and a 30cm VGA. Now, I took off the power switch and I mounted it inside the wood as well. The cable just runs through and it's a very simple process to do that. I just cut away a little hole in the plywood just using a very sharp knife, and yeah, it just slotted straight in there and it looks nice and tidy. So moving on now, I opted to go for some felt to actually cover and protect the underside of the arcade table. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether this will be an issue with heat dissipation. I'm not sure if it will overheat or not. I really don't know. It's going to be something I'm going to have to learn over time. It's very thick felt and I didn't realize how thick it was. But anyway, we're going to be stapling it to the wood and making a nice, protection area for all the components, as well as that, just to tidy up, things don't dangle down, etc., and just to make things, overall neater. So now that's all stapled in, etc. It was quite hard to do. It's quite thick felt at the end of the day, but one thing I probably will be doing is cutting a hole in the felt itself and then attaching some maybe Velcro or something like that, so I can get easy access to the actual components, and then put that felt back just to protect it, just in case things maybe detach. I know when I was revisiting this and actually putting all the cables together and finally turning it on, it didn't work. One of the cables had become loose inside the actual box itself, inside the actual table. I actually had to actually glue that cable in place because the cable was just very loose. It was under a lot of strain. Like I said before, if I was opting to do this again, I would very much opt for very longer jammer cables, and it would just make things a hell of a lot easier, especially when positioning the actual motherboard, etc. So that's it, guys. That is our arcade table completely and utterly finished. There is one thing I would have liked to done better, is the finish around the actual screen, where we actually cut the actual hole to actually place the screen in. We didn't get it quite right. I'm not that experienced when it comes to cutting wood. Actually, I've got no experience. I just, you know, winged it. But what I would like to have done is either cut it better or found a better way of hiding the gap. There's just an ever so slight gap around the screen, and I've covered it in black silicone. I'm not too happy with the finish of that, but there we go. It's something that we can learn and improve upon next time. So all there is to do now is sit down, have a drink and have some food and play on our Pandora arcade table. I think it's turned out pretty well for our first attempt at least. And we didn't spend too much actually building this. The Pandora 5S key costs about £115 or about $150, something like that. I wouldn't opt for that option. The only reason we did it was because we got that free from GearBest. If you aren't already aware, we received a lot of free products to review, etc. That's what a lot of this channel is based on, and we give our open and honest opinion on each product we review. So we got this Pandora 5S key and we done the review on it and then decided to do what we did. If I was going to do this, if I was you, I would not opt to do this. I would go out there and find a genuine jammer board. That would be totally separate. It's also cheaper, so you get your jammer board, you get your jammer cables, and you probably have to buy your buttons, etc. separate. But that would be the way I would do it, because the jammer cables are much longer. You'll be able to make things much tidier, and it'll just overall be a better experience. So I really hoped you enjoyed this video and gave you a little bit of insight in how to actually do this. We are totally clueless, so if we can do this, you can certainly do it at home. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, I really hope you enjoyed it. My name is Matthew and you've been watching another video by the MXQ Project. Don't forget to check out the website mxqproject.com, the Facebook group, the Twitter account at MXQ Project. Don't forget guys, subscribe, like this video, and don't forget guys, if you click the little bell icon, you will be notified every time we post a video, which is a couple of times a week. Thanks again, and we shall see you very soon.